So now what I'd like to talk to you about is vision change. And oftentimes what we don't realize when we're dealing with a person living with dementia, we don't realize that the vision change that occurs, we think that just because they look good and they dress well and they look like they're okay, there actually is a vision change. So I'm going to ask you to actually do some of the movements with me so it gives you a better feel. So when we're out, put your arms out here with me. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to wiggle your fingers. Now if you're young meaning about 25 or so, and you're not drunk, more than likely you'll be able to see your fingers wiggle. I cannot see my fingers wiggle. Who can see their fingers wiggle? Yes, because you're young, son of a guns. You can see. So, but what happens is, as we get older, I want you to bring your arms in a little bit. And what I'd like to illustrate to you, this is when you're coming in about, I guess 40 degrees on each side, what you're now seeing is this is the average vision of a 70-year-old. Now, by the time you're 70, 75 years old, already your vision has come in to the degree where you can you wiggle your fingers now? Most of you can see it, right? Mm-hmm. So I think what's most striking when you're, I would say, and we're gonna talk a gem here, by the time you are, let's say, into emerald, your vision has gone down to about, let's bring it about 12 to 18 inches apart and make a full circle. Now you're actually seeing vision. This is the vision change of someone living in moderate stage, or what I would say would be from emerald, amber, ruby, pearl, and on. So there's a significant change, as you see, in vision. So is that something that you ordinarily take into consideration when you're with someone with dementia? Yeah. What's that?
What's in the class? Yeah, so.
Because of the last class where you remember this, yeah. So, the reason I want to talk about this is because I want to have us experience something. What I'd like to do, I'd like you to determine who's going to be the care person and who's going to be the person living with a dementia. So, let's have you be the person with a dementia. I'm asking you to do it, and then I'm telling you, you'll have a dementia, you'll have a dementia. And Donna, you can work with me, and you'll have a dementia. So what I'd like the care person to do, I'd like you to all stand up. And what I'd like the helpers to do, the care people to do, is stand behind the person that you're caring for. Stand behind the person that you're caring for. Good. Now, the person who is the person with a dementia, close your eyes. Okay, keep them closed. Now, you're the person with dementia. The care person, I want you to watch what I do. The person with dementia, do not open your eyes. But this is what I'd like the care person to do. Watch what I do. I'm not going to say it, so watch what I do. So what I just did, I want you to when I tell you to go, okay? All right? Okay, so, please. Come on, mess. Mess around. Mess around. Well, you were very kind messers. You were very kind. The person with dementia, tell me how that was for you.
Frightening.
Frightening.
Yeah.
What about it was frightening?
'Cause it was unexpected and sort of intrusive when you don't know it's coming.
Right, when you don't know what's coming. How was that for you? Well, she was a very kind messer.
I mean, I could sense somebody was there, but you don't know what's happening.
You don't know what's happening. Yeah.
I heard something, but I didn't open my eyes.
You did.
I did.
She cheated.
I did.
She
I'm
cheated.
not-
And
I didn't mean to cheat.
you were the care person, right? How was that for you?
It's uncomfortable. You want to be aware of what's going on at all times.
In my
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. So when someone is, well, how did it make you feel? How did it make you feel when someone was coming up behind you and all of a sudden, how did it make you feel?
Uncomfortable.
Tense,
Mhm.
uncomfortable,
Anxious.
anxious, very anxious. How come it was anxious?
'Cause you don't know what they're gonna do.
You don't know what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
It was foreign probably for her.
Yeah, it was. And so we have to assume that, so people with vision problems, especially when they're down to 12 to 18 inches, what have they lost? They've lost the peripheral vision, and what we consider that is safety awareness. So there is no safety awareness. So as the care person, how was that for you to be sneaking up behind somebody?
I feel like you don't know what's gonna happen to you either. So like you're creeping up on them. They could swat at you, hit you, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like uncomfortable because you don't know how they're gonna react. So
Right.
you're just creeping up.
Yeah, you don't know how. So when you're, does this happen with the, are there occasions where this actually can happen during the work that you do? How is that? I mean, why would something like that happen?
The resident might not feel you or hear you if you call their name. They're pushing, they're watching, so it's kind of unsafe.
It's unsafe,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. When does this, as a care person, does this sometimes happen for you?
It happens a lot of times. Cause you go in, you knock on a resident's door, and if they don't hear you and you go in, you have something swing at you. What are you doing in here?
So what I'm getting at is something that, the other thing I wanted to point out with this, by the way, that I think, is something that, remember we talked here, well, I'm not sure if the screen picked it up, but remember we talked when we were talking about the PET scan and how the little, put your fingers like this again, right? The little amygdala are here. So you're coming in, and what did we say about the amygdala? What did we say about it? It's what part?
Emotion.
It's emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what? It could trigger, right? So here you are, you're coming up, and what you notice here, even in late Alzheimer's, that amygdala is ready. It's there. So what do you think is going to happen if you're coming up behind somebody, or if you don't realize that there's no peripheral vision?
You're going to scare them.
You're going to scare them. What happens when you scare them?
Take a
Jump
fall.
or they
Fight or
stay.
flight.
Yeah.
Fight or flight, exactly. And then what happens to you as a care person?
Injury.
You could get injured, and what else?
Fired.
You lose it.
You could get fired, right? Yeah, that's right.
They don't trust you immediately.
They don't trust you immediately. And you know, we talked about they might not remember your name, but
They remember what you did.
oh, that's right. They're gonna remember what you did.
That is so true.
That is so true. So, the reason I bring this up is because what we have is something called positive physical approach. The other part, before I forget, I want you to put on a pair of binoculars. Now, this is the kind of vision that I'm talking about right now, the 12 to 18 inches. So already, what have you lost? If you're looking straight ahead, what have you lost? Peripheral vision, in what way?
It's a tunnel vision.
It's a tunnel vision. So if I walked up to you, can I use you a minute, Kathy? Sure I can. Okay, so have your binoculars on, okay? So, you have full binoculars there? All right, I'm gonna walk up to you. Hey, oh my God, look how dirty you are down here. Look at this.
I can't see down there.
You can't see me down there. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Not only can you not see here, you cannot see down. So, thank you. So we have something called positive physical approach. So if I walked up to, yeah, I need you again. So if I walked up to Kathy and I come right up here and I don't introduce myself, she doesn't, I'm in a rush. Are you ever in a rush?
Yes.
Always. You feel like you're always in a rush. Do you have enough staff? Never, right. So you're in a rush, the bells are going off, you have a lot to do, and you've got to and you know that Kathy's daughter is about to walk in the door in about 5 minutes, and you see her, oh my God, look what happened to you, and you're, right. I'm gonna get socked. Don't sit down yet. So, the positive physical approach, if I come up to her right here, actually, let me just illustrate, what might this look like to you?
In your personal space.
Yeah, you're.
I am in your
My
personal-
space.
I am in your
It's
space.
aggression.
It's aggression. What am I doing now? I'm what?
Posturing.
I am posturing and I could be the kindest person in the world, but if I am in her face, is this comfortable?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't like you.
You like that? Right, I don't like you like that either. So what we call this is confrontational stance. I am right here, I am in confrontation. She doesn't know this. As a care person, you could be very kind and comfortable,
Back away.
and you're gonna back away, and if you back away from me, what might happen to you?
I might fall.
You might fall, right, and then if you might fall, then I might go like this, and then what might I do to your arm? I might break it, skin tears, because, when you're 80, 85 years old, there's not a
Skin is fragile.
your skin is fragile, just like mine. So with the positive physical approach, I want to start out up here. Why do you think I'm starting out up here?
So she can get a full clear view.
Exactly. So she can get. Did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Want to say a little louder?
Full.
Full clear vision. Yeah, right. Because this is what we call public space. Public space is about, is about a double arm's length away. That's called public space. I can talk to her, she can see me, where we can have a conversation. So I'm going to start out here in public space because I have to assume that this is what she's down to. Or if she's a ruby or a pearl, it could be monocular vision by that time. But we don't know this, so we have to make an assumption. So what I want to do is I want to extend my arm, and now if Kathy does not put her arm out, can I walk in?
No.
Why not?
She's not
I'm not
acknowledging you.
right, you're not acknowledging me and I'm invading her space. Can I have a conversation out here with her? Of course I can. Can I start can I start an interaction out here? Of course I can, because I'm not sure where she's coming from today. I have no idea what's happened today. So I extend my arm, and now, let's say Kathy does put her arm out. I come in here and I do what's called hand under hand. Hand under hand, if you've never done it before, it could be a little awkward. I want you to try this with me. Let's just give it you know how you used to do the arm wrestle? Did you ever arm wrestle? With your partner, do an arm wrestle. Well, you have to. There's your, that's it. There you go. Now,
Give me the hand.
with, the other thing you have to remember also is the person's dominant side. Because if it feels awkward, if you're not working with the person's dominant side, it will feel awkward. So here you have your hand underneath, and you come in, and who's on top here? The person living with dementia is on top. Why is the person living with dementia on top?
It gives them control, they feel like.
Gives them control. Is this something that you know that you could do? Is this something that, have you ever tried?
Yes.
You have tried it before?
Mary.
You have tried it?
Yeah.
Good. Has it been helpful for you?
Yes.
Does it work every single time?
Majority of the time.
Majority.
Yeah, majority of the time. So with hand under hand, I come in, now I'm gonna stand to Kathy's side. Why am I standing right over here to Kathy's shoulder? Because why am I standing here? Less confrontational. She can still see me even with binoculars on. What I like to do, and of course it's different for everybody, what I like to do is put my hand on their shoulder, because it's more of a proprioceptive touch. It sort of closes a loop here, and it really gives a person really, really good support. So this is our positive physical approach, and it's hand under hand, and I can use this as a rudder. Can I?
You can.
What's the first sense that we talked about before that we always use?
Visual.
Visual. Remember? Visual, then audio or hearing, and then touch, and then smell.
And taste.
Right, so what happens when we touch first? We all know this is what happens, right? So we don't. Always use visual first. So I'm not gonna sit here and just chatter away and have diarrhea of the mouth, because if Kathy is in Amber or Ruby and I go, "Oh, how you doing today? What's going on? Yeah, you wanna go down the hall with me?" What do you think she's gonna do? She's not gonna have a clue. So I can use visual. Eat? Hungry? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm smiling. I'll say something complimentary. Let's go down the hall. So that's the positive physical approach. The other thing that I want to, if you stay here a second, the other thing I want to tell you about this. Let's say Kathy is having a horrible day. She is just, she doesn't feel well. She's a Ruby. She can't really tell me. She's not having a real good day. What do you think that what do you think I might want to try? Remember we talked a little bit about before, and and you see how this is all going. Hi, how are you? That's one thing I forgot to tell you. You want to put your hand up here when you're greeting. Why do you think you're going to put your hand up here? Exactly. Right. She has the vision. She can see me. So. Does it make sense if Kathy is having a horrible day for me? Hi, Kathy, what do you think?
I'm gonna ignore you.
You're going to ignore me. We talked before about how you might want to respond when someone is. You want to what? Say it again. You want to match their tone. You want to mirror. So let's say Kathy's really having a tough day. I'm still not going to walk right into her. I'm going to, so you're crying, right? Okay. Kathy's crying. Or you're sad, Kathy. Oh, Kathy, I'm sorry you're sad.
An actor on.
Anyway, the point is, you can have a seat. The point is, you're going to match her emotion. You're not going to walk in there and go, "Oh, hi, hi. This is Eileen," and you're going to match her emotion, and you're going to still stand out. What if somebody's in a wheelchair? what do?
Get down to the level.
You get down to their level. So, if you are a person living with dementia, do you think it makes a difference then, how you approach them? Absolutely, yeah. So if you, I'd like you to pick up the card that I've given you. And, I think in 20 minutes we're probably beyond.
I think we already did.
Exactly.